Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to our weekly show, My Spiritual GPS. So, GPS, I think of it as a God positioning system wherein, a lot of times in life, you are where you are and you want a specific destination because our mind loves a form of certainty. So let's say you're growing up and then you're going to have your own family, right? You're going to buy a certain car, a certain house, and you're going to have this kind of work or job that you'd really love to pursue. Then you set the trajectory of your life accordingly, right? So your GPS is your God positioning system that allows you to go from where you are to where you want to be. And sometimes in the middle of that journey, you kind of get lost in the way, right? Because your neighbor, your best friend, they're all doing something different, and you're like, I wonder, that experimentation within us. I wonder if I discover that, right? We're all human, so we love to play, we love to grow, we love to be enlightened by different things, right? And by different situations, circumstances, people, events. So today, what we're going to talk about is how to trust your intuition in manifestation. Because right now, with all these chaos that's going on, people are needing to find that stillness, that quiet time within them, right? And their connection to their divine source. And also, how do you convert the message from God, so to speak, that you have gotten, or from the universe, from source, to something really tangible in life? So today, I have invited my Transformational Wellness Academy soul teachers to help us really understand what intuition manifestation is and how do we really manifest and boost that with ease and grace and flow. So I want to welcome in Therese Nadeau and Vienna Dunham. Hi, ladies. How are
Hello,
you?
Vivian. Hi, Therese.
Hi.
Doing well, thanks.
Yes, why don't you introduce yourself so they know Vivian is a human MRI and I also do money magnet activation, right? So, Therese, go ahead and share with them who you are.
Hi, everyone. I'm Therese Nadeau. I am a intuition activator. So I help ladies basically tap into their intuition, trust the messages they get from spirit, overcoming fears and doubts to just be their own guidance system. And yeah, it's
Awesome.
kind of fun.
Yes, yes. And I know you also use the Oracle deck, right? They call you an Oracle Master Teacher. Can you share with us a little bit of what is an Oracle and what is a Master Teacher?
Yeah, okay. An oracle basically is someone who can tap into spirit and basically can predict or decipher messaging for making decisions, creating the least resistance to a path forward. Sometimes that could mean you can see the future or the past. And I mean, a master teacher is someone who has been through their own transformation. You know how we know that enlightenment isn't a pretty journey.
Yeah,
So, so you definitely have to go into those dark and dingy places
those
to come out.
valleys, right? The valleys.
Yes, the
The,
valleys, the rivers, the mountains, you
yep.
name it, you go through it. And so I've just trained with multiple healers around the world and have really transformed myself as much as possible to become a teacher. And I just really love doing what I do.
Yes, and thank you. You're such a great gift to have here with us today.
Aw.
And of course, we also have Miss Vienna Dunham. She is our emotion code practitioner for Transformational Wellness Academy. Hi, Vienna. Can you share with them a little bit of, well, you have a lot of expertise, but go ahead.
Thank you so much. And Therese, what you do, that's such important work. That's been part of my journey is gaining confidence in that, trusting what I'm hearing. So love what you do, and look forward to experiencing some of that with you. Vivian,
Thank you.
always loving what you do. So thank you for all that you give.
Thank
And
you.
so my little piece to this pie is that often in moments of stress, trauma, crisis, adrenaline moments in life, and when we were little, it might have been the dog chewed my shoe. It doesn't have to be I was traumatized. That's traumatizing enough. And then we get emotions trapped inside, and we have no clue what's happened. Emotions are designed to be able to just flow through. If you feel sadness, ride the wave. You know what? Be present with it. And 1 to 2 minutes, usually it will pass. And if we're not able to do that because of that some stress hormones, which are rampant right now in our world, then it can get stuffed down in our hearts, in our brains, it's got any place in the body really. And so that's what we want to clear, because that makes it hard to move forward as well. If we're for myself, I found that my deep inner self and wisdom was tethered, so to speak, below the water like a beach ball. And when I did this emotion code and some other adjunctive therapies, uh, that kept those tethers, and whew, I flew up in a big hurry, whatever that is. Anyway, in a big hurry, I was able to raise my frequency. So I've been learning. Yes, thank you. Thanks for rejoicing with me in that all along the way. And I just find that so many people now are talking about healing and keeping your health, not succumbing to the passing winds of whatever's blowing by. It happens when our frequency is high. If we're down here in the basement, we're super susceptible. So that's my joy, is to help people find out what might be tethering them at a lower frequency so they can pump up.
Right. Thank you for sharing you guys' genius, right? So the three of us, actually, we have another person that we invited to, we're going to be doing this beautiful group energy healing together called Manifestation Booster. And people are like, what's that?
It's a fair question.
So, yeah, it's a good question, right? What is a manifestation booster? So, it's a way for you to actually kickstart your money flow. So, we know that since COVID started, some people have lost their jobs. Even some businesses have to pivot, right? Because suddenly people have so much fear. And that's when Vienna and I actually met. I'm like, Vienna, we need to help these people. They're like ostrich in the sand. That's how I saw them, right? I was in Sedona in January, and I was meditating, and I saw, well, that's why I went to Sedona, because when I meditated, I saw people looking like ostrich, like their head is buried in the sand and they don't want to come out because they're so afraid. So Vienna said something about emotion code and code of consciousness. She said people have trauma, right? That's why they're like that. They're acting like the bomb is going to explode, but then they don't want to hear it and they don't want to deal with it. So they just have to put their head in the sand. And unfortunately, the world looked like this. 85% of the world was in that state when this year started. I mean, look at us now. We are at the end of August. September's coming up, right? It's towards, I mean, school already started, but there's still so much fear and anxiety and stress. So obviously, I'm a business owner. However, you cannot do anything with your business when people are in trauma. I don't know about you, but if I'm feeling unsafe, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to give you my money. I'm not going to sign up for anything. And I said the world needs help. So, right? Am I
Yeah,
speaking
Risk
the
tolerance
language?
super low.
Yeah.
absolutely.
So then it's interesting because some of us really, I guess, heed the call and said, okay, I'm going to do some healing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Right. We were doing whatever it takes to help elevate the frequency of the world.
Mhm.
And around March, April, I went back again to Sedona. It wasn't planned, okay? But I was going by intuition because I was told, go back again, do something again. I'm like, again? And by the way, when I'm
Love
conversing
it.
with the universe, right, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, let them figure out their problem, but it's bigger than us. We were told to like link up together, right? Link arms together and really help the world. And you know, you can hide in your house. I don't know what's going to happen if you do that. I don't think anything is going to happen except the energy just keeps going down. What do you notice with people as you've been healers, right, for a while? What happens when you're actually seeing someone in trauma, like, and they are not willing to do anything about it?
Um, yeah,
What do
go ahead.
you say? There's just not a lot that you can do. You can do the Band-Aid, but
Yeah,
as we're not force healers, we don't force
right,
this on anyone if they're
right.
not ready to receive it. If you sweep the house clean and they're not willing to fill back up, worse can
Mhm.
come. So we're not interested in that. We want to encourage them. We can lend what support we can, and yet the healing needs to take place in their space. So when
Got
they're
it.
ready, they'll be back. And
Yes.
if we don't, uh, like, it's possible to do some kind of a little numbing shot,
Hmm.
and then they don't feel the pain. And I'll give an example. I was with one of my daughters, and she was having an energy session with a chiropractor,
Hmm.
and some tears came up. And instinctive mom thing, I reached over to put my hand on her hand, and the chiropractor looked at me and went, like, cheer up, I'll explain later. Nothing, you're fine, nothing's wrong. But if you sap off or drain off some of that negative energy that she finally worked up enough to release with tears, then you're sabotaging the healing process. And I went, oh, sorry.
Oh,
So it all worked out fine, but I learned my lesson.
ooh, that's a good learning experience. Thank you for sharing that. How about you, Therese? Like, what do you think
Yeah.
of these people that are like an ostrich head in the sand?
Well, I think basically as soon as we hit COVID, everyone's foundation was shaken up. So all the cobwebs, the mold in the basement, it was all exposed and there was no hiding anymore. And
Mm,
so that was the gift that I've seen, is that we're being faced with our trauma. We're being faced with having to deal with it. And it's harder to put our head, like we're used to putting our head in the sand, but the sand's getting harder. Does that make sense? It's not as soft and cozy there. And so I'm finding that when people do want to deal with it's happening quicker. Like the healing processes are happening much faster in my
yes.
experience.
Hmm.
Rather than taking years, sometimes it can take a couple of sessions. And so
Yes.
so to me, that is the exciting part, is that more people are starting to face it and come forward and honor that in themselves. And then it's just rippling, as you guys know, the
Yeah.
astounding effect generationally, 7 generations back, 7 generations forward. When you do that healing work, you are healing your family.
Yes.
And it
Mm,
is a beautiful gift that not
yes.
only you're giving yourself, you're giving to everyone else around you.
Oh, that's
So well
beautifully
said.
said. Thank you
Beautiful.
so much. That's so true because you can't heal alone, right? Well, that's the reason why you have attachments and codependencies, right? Because that's unfortunately for some of us, we were taught a certain way, right? Like there are certain values we keep, right? Honor God, honor your mother, your father, and the people around you. And interestingly, though, because when you're moving forward and you're transforming into this beautiful swan, so to speak, right? Um, your family members look at you like, what's wrong with you? I don't know if you have that experience, but I certainly had
Oh
my
yeah.
share, right? And then they're like, are you the person that I was walking with? Like you literally change overnight at times because transformation is interesting, right? You're taking these classes, you're doing all these things, you're doing some healing work, and then one day you wake up and I go, ugh, do I live here? Like, is this me? Like, it's almost like a different identity shift. So, knowing that the three of us do different kinds of things. So, obviously, I do more of the psychic intuitive, like looking at what is the thing that's blocking you, let's say, from your money flow. That's my specialty, right? Because money is energy. It's in the physical plane, it's in the emotional plane, it's in your relationships, and it's also in your spiritual plane. So when your body is speaking to you, right? So certain organs, you know how some people have diseases or they would be diagnosed with something. The question is, what is a trapped emotion that may be in that physical body, and perhaps an oracle card guidance may help you move your life a certain way, because sometimes it's not bad, right, that people sometimes get these diagnoses. So if a person has cancer, let's say diagnosed with cancer, I usually see that as it's a fight against your own higher self. So you have a purpose, we all have one. um, no two people are the same, by the way, even if it looks the same in human design, even if the gates, the incarnation cross looks the same, it's not the same, right? We have a different flavor. We have a different path. We happen to just cross each other's path. So we know, though, that a person is not just emotional. A person is not just spirit, right? Like they have the physical realm, they have the relationship that they have with other people. So together, so I saw this as like a powerhouse. Think of it like a triangle, right? That's a very powerful shape. When three people come together with the same intention to actually give it to you and say, here you are, we're like your mirror. Well, Therese is a reflector, so she is a mirror. She will tell you exactly who you are, and then you're like, oh, is that the part of me that I have been avoiding for years? Are you sure I have to deal with that today, Therese? You know, like that. That's the gift behind that, right? So when we started creating this event, I was like, wait a minute, I think we can all contribute to help one another, to help these people that are coming to this event, right? So it's an invitation to do just that. So I'm going to ask these two ladies. I already shared what I do, right? Money magnet activator, human MRI. What is the transformation that your service provides to your clients? So go ahead, Vienna, share your emotion code transformations that you've seen so far with some of the people you've helped.
All right. I had an opportunity to help a businessman in his 40s who would get triggered every time he got an email from one of his supervisors in a different country. So it was always just email or Zoom or something like that. So not even face to face, but every time he'd do the deer in the headlights thing and go, oh no, what's it going to be? There's going to be criticism. There's going to be, and he had no clue that it just felt like, okay, this is normal. This is how I interact with this person. And I said, hey, let's just check, see if there's some trapped emotions behind that. And we found a dozen, a handy dozen. And
A lot.
and it's super simple, right? It's over the governing meridian, not even do 50 push-ups. Super simple. And the next day I heard from him and he's like, yeah, I got an email and I wasn't triggered and I just was able to speak my truth. And the response back was, and he was able to say, I used to be that person, and he'd been doing his own transformative journey, right? But this hadn't caught up yet. And he said, so when I made that comment about I need a deadline to push me, I was actually thinking of the old me, but that's not true anymore. That's not actually how I function. So I'm giving you the update that you don't have to interact with me and push me around and whatever to try to make me perform. I'm self-sufficient in this now. So, it gave him that opportunity to speak his truth. And I love that. And then just my own journey, about 8 sessions, I had been stuck as in a little girl mode with all of my authority relationships. And that was basically all my friends, because I either did massage for them or cleaned their houses, somewhere in the last 20 years. And so it was like, you want me to jump? How high? It was just, it wasn't that pure friendship that we long for in our lives. So I did these sessions, interestingly, with the midwife that helped with the birth of my first child. And in 8 weeks, I was my adult woman self with a voice. And it was just beyond remarkable to me that by clearing those emotions, I was able to shift and be able to speak my truth. That's a couple
Yes,
stories.
and I am a testimonial to Vienna's transformation, because we wrote a few books together with Dr. Angela Loria in the past, a few years back. And it's interesting, when in the past, when I talk about business with Vienna, literally I feel like she was there, and then suddenly she was physically there, but she wasn't there. I'm like, where's the person I was talking to? I was gone. She was gone. And yeah, because I can read the energy, right? And I'm like, what did I just explain to somebody? You know how when you're talking and then they're like checked out, or they're somewhere else except with you? That was the experience. So how many of us do that, right? Like, if we cannot confront a situation, it could be you're arguing with your spouse and suddenly you don't want to deal with it. Literally, your soul checks out. Your soul escapes your body. So you look like a glassy-eyed person and you're like, I don't know what you said. I didn't understand. But we can't resolve relationship issues like that, right? So the moment she was sharing emotion code with me and talking about it, you can tell she's there, right? And I said, you want to work with me? And that's when she jumped and said yes. So it's a timing issue a lot of times when working together as a team. And that's a gift, right? Because sometimes we think it's going to take years to grow up. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's your decision to change, right? Because obviously the title of our show is how to tap, what is that? How to trust your intuition in manifestation. So we're going to keep on talking about this in a few minutes. So Therese, what is the transformation that your service offers to the clients?
Yeah, great question. I love it. I love what you do, Vivian. I love emotion code work. So for me personally, I help my clients really tune in to their spiritual self. And I do that by giving them a lot of tools in their tool belt to continually use. So usually when clients come to me, they're in need. They're in need in their health or their relationships. They might be experiencing a lot of fear, anxiety, and or there's this sense of needing to know more and needing to tap in deeper into their wisdom because they know that they're meant to be here as a leader, as a healer. And so their transformation is wherever they're at, they get to become their own guide, their own priestess, their own goddess. And honestly, it's a really exciting and fun journey because we sometimes have to journey through past lives to heal what's preventing them from receiving in this lifetime. Sometimes we have to tap into their inner child because we're all ages all the time, right? We tap into all those ages. And sometimes it's their 2-year-old throwing the tantrum in their relationship. And so it's, for me, I use the oracle cards to guide my clients as a way to trust in themselves. It's like a physical tool for not only manifesting, but also healing and the layers that we carry in this lifetime. And so, yeah, it's more clarity, it's more confidence. And like, we talk about speaking your truth. It just gives us permission to really say, actually, I'm seeing this or I'm feeling this and saying it and honoring that without the self-doubt and the programming which has come down generationally. So there's many layers and many exciting journeys I go on with my clients. And those are just a couple examples of the things that we do together.
Thank you so much for that. So now what we're going to do, I think, because there are a few audience, right? They want to have a sample of what the two of these beautiful ladies, or the three of us, do, right? So like I said, we are going to be doing an event called Manifestation Booster. It's going to be on September 17 and 18. And what we want to do today is showcase all of our gifts and talents. And if you have any questions or comments, please post it on the comment section and we can call you in here. If you have the StreamYard link, definitely we could do that. So who are the people that shouldn't even come to this class? Okay. This event is a group healing event. It is an experience. We're actually going to start with a drumming circle with a soul curator that I've invited. She's a good friend and a client of mine. So if you are satisfied with your dysfunction in life, keep on going. You cannot attend this class and you shouldn't even try, because I promise you, when 3 to 4 healers come together, your life is going to change. And for those of you that know me, that's why they only see me sometimes one time and then they're good for several months, because the magnitude of change is so fast and so big that they have to almost like, wait a minute, my world just got rocked. Can I just find this foundation? Because it's completely different than when I started with, right? You can ask these two ladies, but their lives changed because somehow I show up. The other day I was at this inner circle. I was just talking to this lady because she wanted to connect with me. Remember, money magnet activator, right? She said she hasn't had enough clients and she's been with this group for 6 months. I talked to her last week. Guess what she posted on Facebook a few days later? My God, I got my first paying client. And I'm like, oh, that is interesting. We just activated your money flow, didn't we? That's what happened, right? So if you are satisfied with your dysfunction, and sometimes you don't identify what it is, it may be an opportunity for you to actually come up and be brave, right? You deserve a better life. So the question is, are you able to claim it? 2, if you're not interested in changing, please don't come. And you already gave up or settled for what it is. These are the 3 characteristics. If you're just settling in life, this is how I look at it, right? If we die, well, we will die eventually. And in our tombstone, if we look at that and go, yeah, I kind of worked, but yeah, my life passed me by, and yeah, now I'm here and I'm at the pearly gates of heaven, because God's going to ask you what you did, right? So if you're not willing to man up, brave up, or woman up, right? And just say, I really want a better life than what I have, it's time to do a healing event, because it is perfect for that. Okay? Now, if you do like transformation, change, and you like the speed and the assistance of us here, beautiful ladies, it's a good thing you come. Okay? It's a good thing you come. All right. So let me see if we have any questions. Oh, by the way, we have a comment. So Renisa's here. And then Shifra's here. Vienna, you changed my dog's life. Ah,
Baby girl.
that is the cutest. And Renisa said hi. All right, so go ahead and write your questions down or any comments, whatever you want to ask our healers. In the meantime, let's Vienna, would you like to ask Therese? This is a good opportunity for us to do this together. Go for it.
Absolutely. And after I do this with Therese, I also gathered 5 different emotions that when I ask something for those who are watching today and those who will watch in the future, I got 5 different emotions that pertain to such a time as this. But I'd love to do a sample for Therese.
Yes.
Right. So Therese, is there something that's like been in your face, or like, wow, that I gave more of a reaction there than I would have thought was necessary? Anything come to
Oh,
your
like an emotional reaction to something?
Yep.
Sure. My ex-husband.
I comprehend. All right. So you just have a scenario in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I have your permission to check in and see if there's a trapped emotion?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So trapped emotion for Therese with regard to her ex-husband. And the word is rejection. The definition, feeling denied, refused, or rebuffed, discarded as useless or unimportant, cast out, unwanted, forsaken. So those are anyone or more of those may apply. And then do we need to know more? Yep. Is there more than one occurrence we can release at once? Yes. 3 times 3 that we can release. We need to know first occurrence. We do. Is it before age 10? Yeah, before age 5. 5, 6, 7, 8. So age 8 was the first occurrence of this flavor of rejection. And
So Vienna's using muscle testing as she's
Right.
testing Therese.
So a yes holds tight. I've just tuned into Teresa's channel with her permission, her radio station, and then strong locked means yes, the body is all in agreement, and then weak and slippy is that nope, that's not the one. So then is it yours alone? It is. This is not inherited. And do we need to know where it is in the body? We do. And it's in your heart. And do we need to know how big it is? Yes. Are we going to measure in miles? Nope. Okay, light years. Being the size of energy worker you are, your trauma gets measured in light years, or the significance of this emotion for you. 8 light years. Do we need to know anything more? Nope. Can we clear with sweeps? Yes. Do we need more than 3? Nope. 3 sweeps for you. I'm just gonna up and over. Your fingertips are magnetic, so we're going to use those over your governing meridian. It goes from your tailbone to your upper lip. Thankfully, we don't have to turn you into a pretzel and do the whole thing. You can just do from your forehead to the base of your neck.
Do you want me to do it?
Mm-hmm. 3 sweeps. Yeah. I did it as well. And sometimes, and actually everyone watching, we've all experienced some rejection in life. So just ride the wave, be with us and release some from your life. And any sensation that you noticed with that or anything?
Yeah, I could feel it. Yeah, I'm highly sensitive and I could feel the energy moving for sure.
Beautiful.
And it feels accurate. It's very accurate, actually.
Okay. And then is that clear? Yep. You did it well.
Thank you. Perfect. Amazing.
Yeah. Shall we do the 5 group ones, Vivian? Is this a good time?
Yeah. Maybe we'll give them 3 so that then they feel the difference. So they have a good start, right? And then they can come and see us on Friday, September 17th.
Yes. All right. First up is stubbornness, being difficult, unbendable.
That's me.
My slipper showing. Unbendable, unable or unwilling to forgive, obstinate, headstrong, resistant. And I think for those of us that have been challenged by the whole pandemic thing, to the degree to which we're unbendable, we have felt the pressure. And so let's be like willows, right? Let's bend in the wind, okay? So we don't need any more details because it's a group thing. So we're just going to do 10 sweeps over our head to clear stubbornness. If you lose count, do a few more.
Yeah, that's funny, that stubbornness. You know, I remember when I was a kid, I was kind of stubborn, especially if I believe something is true for me, right? Because that's stubbornness, what it's about. Because your mom can say something, but then you're like, that doesn't sound true to me. So a child, you can like argue with your mother, or you could just be quiet and just like not follow what they are saying or try to get out of it, right? We've done a few things related to that. Yeah, but I remember when I was younger, because in the Philippines we're supposed to not say anything because that's disrespecting the elderly. And it's interesting when I found my voice as we got older.
Mhm.
It's a totally different thing. I was talking to my brother who's it's his birthday today, my youngest brother Ron. And the way he said it is now when your mother who's older than you is kind of like in another lane and then they're just kind of pushing whatever they want to push, right? He has a way about him to say it in a nice way. I usually just go, bam! I just say it like it is. I said, thank God for you because you're such a gentle soul. I am so direct. Right angle cross of penetration, right? I just say it like it is. Some people can handle that. But for me, I'd rather know the truth than the fakeness of anything.
Right.
Because the fakeness feels sticky to me. It just
I'm the
does.
same, Vivian. I'm the same.
It's like, what did you just say? Because that didn't sound like you. So then I don't want to talk to that person when they're that sticky.
Yep.
I like truth.
Yeah.
And
It feels clean.
I'm a little different flavor in there. I didn't
Yes,
feel
yes,
permission, right, to stand up and speak my truth. And
yes.
yet the way I experienced it was that compliant side, overly compliant, I must say, was
Yes.
like, sit in the corner. And you've probably seen the cartoon of, yeah, I'm sitting down on the outside, but I'm standing up on the inside. I'm loving the opportunity to be able to live my truth and be congruent inside and outside.
Yes,
lovely for
that's
me.
the key is the congruence. That's really, really important.
Yep.
Okay.
So our
All right.
second one
Let's do the
is
second
grief.
one.
Grief, and we don't have any trouble understanding that these days. Intense emotional suffering caused by loss, disaster, misfortune, etc., and acute sorrow and deep sadness. A universal reaction to bereavement also can be feeling harassed, vexed, or exasperated, like if someone gives you grief. So I got that we could clear this with 10 also. So
What
each
is
of
the
these-
emotion?
Grief.
Grief. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So just let your inner human wisdom and spirit bring up for you what you may be grieving about. And you can do this more than once. If later today something else comes up, sweep it away.
Yeah, so grief is not just for people who died. When your old self dies, you also go through the grief process. And I know Dr. Renisa Matero, right? She's the grief expert. She really goes through that in her book. It's so fascinating to see people grieve something. Like if you grieve your old self, do you notice that? Like I call it grieving my old self because there's
Absolutely.
several parts of us, right?
Yeah.
How do you notice it in your life, Therese, when you're grieving? Like, what are the usual symptoms that you experience?
Well, I find that every time I go through grief, whether it's the loss of a dog or my divorce, I go within, I retreat. I actually have less energy. Some people exercise and work out more. I'm opposite. I actually go more within. I need quiet. I need space, just to allow the waves of emotions to come up. Because every time you go through any kind of grief, it's going to open up past grief, and especially if it's not been dealt with. And like we know, it can be trapped in the body. So it's a really good time to heal those emotions, right? At the same time. So for me, it's definitely retreat, be in quiet. And I have no energy. It's insane. I actually have no energy left to give. So I have to really reserve what I've got when I'm in a deep grieving state. So that's me personally. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Really
How about
well
you, Vienna?
described.
How do you handle the grieving process?
I think for a long time I was in denial, and I would do that very dangerous thing of comparing myself to others. And a friend one time was praying with me, and she said, "How are you?" And I said, I just have to be grateful. There's our homeless friend. There's our friend whose husband's dying of cancer. There's our friend, la, 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 And she said, "You know what? I just heard God say that it's not okay to compare yourself with others because your journey is tailored for you to bring you to wholeness." And I was like, oh. Okay.
That's a good one. That's a
Sorry.
good one.
It's
So,
true.
yeah. And for
Yes.
me, I find I need more rest. I'm just like unexplainably tired, and I just kind of need to go into a cave for a little bit and
Mm-hmm.
pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to myself. I can journal it some, and
Yes.
just being kind to myself is what I've finally come to be willing to do.
Yes, that's important. Lauren said, letting go of our former self can be scary too. It's so true. And Bernice said, that is so true, right? Yep. Former self, for me, you guys know that I process really quickly. The reason for that, I remember when I was, my gift was showing itself to me, right? I was scared of it, by the way, the gift of being able to see, like what happened, what's happening, what's about to happen. It's kind of scary, right? Because if you say it to someone and they misinterpret that,
Mm-hmm.
who knows what that means to them. For me, I know what it means to me, but it doesn't mean when I share that information that it means the same to them. We all process differently, right? So I realized that grief is such a it's real, right? I was avoiding it before. And one day I just said, okay, let's just sit almost like in a volcano, go all the way in, sit still. Let's see what treasure I'll find there. I'm
Wow.
a little misinvestigated, right? I said,
Mm-hmm.
let me just see what happens. I sat. There is this tremendous peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree with both the ladies. You can't go outside when you are grieving at times because you're just, I guess you're substituting the feeling with, I don't want to feel that way. So you're rejecting the feeling, you're pushing it away. You're not processing anything at that time, right? So I went in that volcano, I sat inside very still, and I felt this tremendous peace. It didn't kill me. Oh my
Yay.
God, it was a surprise. I thought it was going to kill me to be by myself on my own, grieving whatever I was grieving at that moment. And I gave myself permission. I'm like, I don't know how long it's going to take you. Everybody knows this about me. I usually say, you got 24 hours to leave my body. Otherwise, you're out. I'm going to kick you out. Like that's,
Right.
that's me, though, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
especially if the other person that I'm grieving is also grieving and they just can't disconnect from me. It's an attachment.
Yeah.
So that's why I give them, hey, you got 24 hours. You're out. Okay. You got to go somewhere else because you're no longer welcome in this body, in this container. So I felt that. And like I said, for me, it really gave me so much peace.
Yeah.
So much peace. And then I realized it wasn't that scary. So these negative emotions are not scary.
Yeah.
You just have to deal with it, right? You have to
Yeah.
learn to.
Well,
Hey,
grief always brings peace, right? It usually does bring us the sense of peace, especially if someone you love has passed. You'll feel that sense of peace
Mm.
within you, as painful as it can be. But yeah,
yeah, perfect.
it can be a
You
beautiful
ready for
place.
the third one? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, we're good for the third emotion.
All right, here we go. This one is peeved. Okay.
Peeved. Okay.
Yeah, so the definition is irritated, annoyed, exasperated, irked, aggravated, and ticked off. So that one also we can release with 10. So get in touch with that in some experience that you've experienced lately, and let's sweep it away. Ten sweeps.
My gray hair is showing now from
Lovely.
all the sweets.
You've earned it. You've earned it. What do you think
I
about
Your
that?
earned
your
it.
wise strands, right?
My
Right?
white strands are
I'm
showing.
ultra rich.
Woo! It's so cute because it decided to go only on one side of my head, right?
Oh, you've
It's
got
style.
hardly any gray
It has
hair.
its own style.
That's right. You know how much that would cost if you went and tried to get that?
I don't know. I don't do that.
Exactly. See,
Oh my
you
God,
get it
that's
free.
funny.
A gift from
Yes,
the Lord.
yes. Okay. All right. So let's see how everybody
Oh,
feels.
and so let's say peeved cleared, grief cleared, stubbornness cleared. You're all clear.
Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh, that's so cool. All right. Whew. So, do you want to share the other two, and they can process it on their own? What are the
Absolutely.
other two emotions?
Sadness and defensiveness.
What's the difference of sadness and grief?
I will gladly read that definition. Sadness, unhappy, sorrowful, mournful, affected by grief. So
Ah,
I think it's not as strong. Like grief is that wailing kind of thing, and sadness is
uh-huh.
just like, oh, I'm a little off my game today. I don't know why.
Ah, I gotcha. So, sadness and defensiveness.
Yep.
Oh my God, that defensiveness, right? Sometimes we defend ourselves and we think we're in battle, and I don't know what you're trying to fight. Like your
Yep.
purpose is trying to shine through you, and then you're fighting everything. I'm like, okay, stop that.
Can I read the definition for that? This one's profound, actually.
Okay, go ahead.
Right.
What's
A
defensive?
state of resisting attack or protecting oneself, being
Oh,
sensitive to the threat of criticism or injury to one's ego, being on guard against real or imagined threats to one's person, physical and or emotional. That's pretty
oh my God.
comprehensive.
Yeah. No, that's true. Because in our mind, sometimes we think, okay, a bear's gonna attack me, but then like nobody's attacking.
Right.
Once you become very courageous about who you are, and then be okay that your purpose is that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine my purpose, that right angle cross of penetration? It's kind of offensive for some people,
Mhm.
right? They don't want to be seen. They even, when I tell them I'm a human MRI, they go like this, and I'm thinking, I can see anything you're covering for me. It's fine. But they don't like it. Again, without permission, we don't do any reading or healing without permission. So
Exactly.
you have to give yourself permission, right? To do so.
Yes.
So the two of you, Therese, would you like to share your gift as an oracle card reader, and let's read Vienna. Let's see
Oh.
what it's fun.
Okay, sure. So for those of you who don't know me, I do use my psychic intuitive gifts, and whenever I do work with my clients one-on-one, I am able to go deeply into their hearts and also see the aura, see the whole person from a spiritual, mental, emotional viewpoint. So imagine an eagle flying overhead and getting the big picture, but then also the little mouse getting into the details. And so how I do that is usually when someone comes to me, they have an issue, like I was saying, and they're in need, and they really need clarity. Their hearts are heavy, and then we are able to lighten that up. So it's a very vulnerable space that I hold for my clients. And so today, yeah, so let me know what's coming up for you, Vienna, and then we can go from there, and I'll show people the process.
Thank you. So my current crisis point this week has been kind of like defining my spiritual space. What's true, and there's a fear of criticism from religious backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got that, and I'm just like the crux of it is like I have a Facebook account with my married name, all the friends in the old world, and then one with my maiden name. And it's the friends I've met in the last 2 years. And the thought of merging those two is like freaking some part of me out. Mm-hmm. Like, can I do that, or do I need to just step away, and those who want to come with me can, and those who don't are going to be freaked out? I don't want to hear it. If they're freaked out, I don't want to hear it.
Okay. And so you've moved through a transition recently, is what I'm hearing, and you're going through your own evolution, your own transformation as we speak. And so it's a very, very vulnerable place to be, is what I'm hearing. Yes. And your heart is heavy with some sadness. And so I'll pull some cards for fun. The cards are just a nice little segue into what you're going through. And I'm going to pull from, let me just grab them here. Sorry, I had them reachable. So Mother Earth is wanting to come through for you. And I think with the nature behind you, it's really timely for the cards. And I just want to say that when I tap into your soul and when I go into connecting with you, there is, the message is that you have to do you, that you have to let go of the judgment of others. And it's not an easy process, as you know, being human. Spirit always gives us these beautiful messages, but they're not in the human form, right? They're in the non-physical. And so this journey is like the butterfly.
Truly.
And I feel like your wings are forming. There's this transition that's happening, and butterflies are beautiful. They can't even see how beautiful they are. They cannot see their own wings. And so the message is, go where the people who see your beauty are. Trust that you can step more into your power, more into this amazing healer and wise soul, this sage energy that you carry. And your people will find you. Women are lighthouses in business. We have to stand on the shore, shining our lights out. The boats have to come to us. We cannot get in the boat, paddle over and help them because they're not ready then, right? It's the same with dating, because I'm single. You can't make all the plans with the guy because you want to have that empowered feminine masculine balance within you. And so that's the boundaries of the people who are going to judge you. They will be there. I see a couple people in your life you're going to be letting go of recently, in the next couple of months, actually, because of the negativity. So focus on the energy that you have when you leave their space.
Okay.
So this is the message, is focus on the energy in your cup. What's left over after you're with these people? Okay, so you got Dawn. Here, let me pull that in there for you.
Dawn. Wow.
New beginnings. Very timely.
That's exciting.
Yes, and I'm excited for you. Yes, there's going to be, you're going to be faced with some heavy decisions, as you know. Your soul is ready. You're ready to expand, and it's like the hardest part is allowing ourselves to come out of that cocoon of who it's that shedding, that layers of shedding. So you have some inner child energy also. There's a little girl inside of you. I'm just going to tune in to her. So she's between 7 and 9. I'm feeling like 9 years old. What happened when you were 9? Did anything happen when you were 9? Anything big? Maybe it's not there. That's okay. But
Yeah. There was, there were little things like losing a dog, but it was in between a couple of moves. Like there was a big move at 6 and a big move at 12. So just kind of in the middle there. And actually, I think I know what it is. Yeah. I
you don't have to share.
The other day and probably didn't quite get it all cleared, but yeah, it was.
Yes. So she is needing you now because the foundation had crumbled for her and those pivotal times in her life. And right now you feel the same way. The foundation has crumbled. So it's time to rebuild. And so we're going to start with her and connect with her. What does she like to eat? What does she like to play?
Right. Macaroni and cheese and swinging on the tire swing.
There you go. So she wants to play. She wants to feel safe. So you're going to be mom and dad for her. It's your inner masculine that you need to be more in touch with in these times. I want you to really tap into him. What does that look like for you? And because boundaries are going to be key for you in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Time, energy, clarity in your focus in your business so that you're not stemming out all different directions. So it's a dawn for you, honey. We're bringing in that light. We're bringing in that rainbow. It's
Yep.
exciting. It's an
It
exciting time.
is.
It is. It truly
How
is.
was that for you, Vienna?
Permission to be in the cocoon, permission to embrace the struggle to get out of the cocoon.
Yeah.
It's how it has to happen. It's how you get the strength to fly. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
And
game.
we're here. You're with this soul family.
And
It's interesting, right? Because you find the people that you're always I guess we're like mirrors for each other, right? There's parts of us that help one another. That's how we came together. A generator, a projector, and a reflector coming together is very powerful, you guys. Just to let you know. Even Elena is actually a generator as well, right? So I invite everyone to have more goodness like this. It's again a group healing event wherein your transformation matters to us because we know you can't get to the next step, right? If the ground is shaky, you're probably not going to even attempt or look at that direction. So for those of you, maybe you're changing in your career or you're thinking about it, maybe there's an issue with your relationship at home, maybe even with yourself, right? If you go to viviandeguzman.com/manifestation booster, we have an early bird special for like $100 off all the way till September 11, I believe. So if you go to that website and decide to join us for this epic healing event, it is going to be rocking your boat to get you to the next level of your manifestation, right? Because we will help you be in tune with your intuition, that higher guidance, together with me, with Therese, and with Vienna, and our special guest who would open it up with a drumming circle. You are in good hands. So,
Vivian, can I speak to people who might have a question about whether or not group work is for them?
yes, definitely.
I did a coaching program, and the one-on-one coaching was outside my price range, so I decided to sign up for the group. It was even a beta group, and so people were phenomenally vulnerable. And what was amazing to me, like, I didn't even know if I could say the word divorce. I wasn't even sure I was going to bring that up. But things that other people were bringing up, I was like, oh my gosh, these people are trusting me with their personal information. I can absolutely put myself out there for, I can trust them to hold space for me
Yeah.
in my transition time. And it was so incredibly beautiful. So there's the shared vulnerability, which is beautiful. And you have steps to create a safe space. And then there's also the group energy concept. So what one person receives, we all receive. So just like you all got to clear these trapped emotions today. So
Yes.
it actually, it feels, when you've not experienced it, it feels like it's going to take away from the experience. Like it won't be as close as it was if it was just a private session. And yet that has not been my experience in any of the group work I've seen. It actually
Yes.
multiplies, magnifies, enhances it. So, awesome.
And you really have to join the community that speaks to you, because if you like change and transformation and have the tools for it, so definitely that's why I have invited other healers to link up arms with me, because I can do all the other things. However, I have decided to share the wealth and share the goodness of teamwork, because that's how we all grow, right? We have to build a community of like-minded people and also those that want that transformation to occur, not like pulling teeth, but totally different, right? Ease, grace, and flow. So that's what I want to share with everyone.
Yep.
Well, thank you, ladies. It's been a pleasure, and we're going to be working together further, obviously. So I wanted you to know that there's a regular ticket and a VIP ticket, and you are more than welcome to enjoy the experience of a VIP if you'd like some private healing. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And
thank
I will see you
you.
again next week for another episode of My Spiritual GPS. Bye for now.